All right. Anyone, any questions, guys, before we get started? So yesterday we were more looking into how to log into the Azure portal, how to install those modules, and how to get started with a couple of commands. Like yesterday we were discussing, how do you do a new resource group by giving a command called new hyphen az resource group and etc. And then we were able to create a couple of resource groups out here. And then we said, okay, fine, there is also a command called remove hyphen az resource group where you can remove things out. So we've been looking at a get, which is to get all the details of particular, let's say, resource group and all these things. For example, let's go back into our PowerShell and let's open PowerShell out here and let's come. So the very first thing that we are going to do is that we are going to connect to, let's say, the Azure portal. So let's do that. Let's say connect hyphen easy account. And in case you get an error, just say hyphen tenant ID and pass in your tenant ID out here so that you'll directly get connected to that particular tenant as such. In my case, I'll just go ahead say connect hyphen easy account, and this is going to present me a pop-up window telling please go ahead and sign in, and I've already signed in, let's say here. So I'll say okay fine, I'm signed in, and as in when I do that, it will try and connect me to my Azure account. But one thing that you have to observe is that I am a user who's a part of multiple tenants. So can you be. You can also be a user who's part of multiple tenants. Also, let's say if you're a part of a single tenant, you have multiple subscriptions under the single tenant. See, the commands needs to be run on one subscription at a given point in time. So you need to tell which subscription that you need to, let's say, run this commands on. In order to do that, I mean, when you are working on a free trial subscription, this is not going to be a problem. You're simply going to go ahead and, let's say, log in. But when you go into the organization tomorrow and then start working, you might have multiple tenants associated with you, multiple subscriptions associated with you. So what I'll do is I'll run a command called set hyphen az context. I'm telling an Azure context out here. And here I'm telling, okay, fine, the subscription that I want is the name of my subscription or the ID of the subscription that I'm currently working on. For example, if I just go back to my portal, the subscription that I'm working on is a Visual Studio Enterprise subscription. So I'll just copy this name and I'll paste it here. So it is a set hyphen az context hyphen subscription space the name of the subscription out here. And if I run this command, what this is going to do is that this is now going to change my context and tell it, okay, fine, you're now working in a subscription called as Visual Studio Enterprise subscription out here. So the very first thing that we need to do is to connect. So either connect hyphen easy account or login hyphen easy account. Anything is kind of going to work. So it's connect or login hyphen easy account. This is what we are going to do to connect or login. Now I want to get all the resource groups that are there in my Azure portal. What is the command that I need to run? Set. Mhm, set. Okay, set hyphen az context is to set this one out here. But what my condition or what I want is to, I want to get all the resource groups on the Azure portal. Get hyphen resource groups. What resource groups? AZ resource groups, Azure resource groups. So yes, it's a get. So get command is always going to start with get. Say hyphen. I'll say AZ resource group. And if I run this is going to give me all the resource groups that are there in my portal and will return a blank value if I don't have a particular resource group. So if I just go back into my, let's say, subscription, I have nothing. But if you have something, let's say something like test, and I'm just creating a resource group on the portal right now. So if you have something out here and if you rerun the command back again on your PowerShell, it's going to return the details of the resource group, not just the name, it's going to return the entire object for this particular resource group, like the name of the resource group, which is test, the location east us to, I mean east us, provisioning state succeeded, tags, and also the kind of, let's say, or the ID of this particular resource group out here. Now we have earlier discussed about something called parameters in PowerShell. We said in order to declare a parameter, you can say dollar $x is equal to something like that. Today, what I'll do is I'll say dollar resource group details. I'll give something called dollar resource group details or something like this. I'll say equal to. Now, instead of me going ahead and declaring a value here, what I'll do is that I'll say I'll equate this to this particular command. I think dollar resource group details is equal to get hyphen AG resource group, which means that whatever output this command is giving you, which is called get hyphen AG resource group, which is nothing but the resource group name, provisioning state, and etc., which is nothing but an object. I'm storing the output inside this particular, let's say, parameter called resource group details. Can you do that? Definitely you can do that. So for example, if I just go ahead and run this, so now if you see, it did not return a value or it did not return anything. Reason being, it was not supposed to return. It was supposed to store all the value inside this particular parameter called resource group details out here. So for example, if I call this, I'll say resource group details, let's enter resource group, the dollar resource group details is going to return all those values for you out here. And in case, let's say you only want to look at the name of a resource group, not the location, not the provisioning state and all these things, you can say dollar resource group details. Again, this is the object which has all these properties. You can say dot resource group name. You can filter by the name or by, let's say, the property value out here. For example, if I say a dot resource group name, I'm only going to get something called as test. If you want the location, I can say resource group details dot location, which is going to return you the value of the location out here that you have out here as such. So you can go ahead and you can say that, okay, fine, the resource group details something like this. So you can get the resource group details and etc. And if you do a dot resource group name and etc., you're going to get that particular property. You're going to get that particular exact property out here. Yes. Anyone? Any questions that I can take till you? I'm sorry. Can you come again, please? Mhm. Yes, that will get executed. It won't get saved. Yeah, it's not saved. In the output, if you type here, it's not saved. If you want to save it, you'll have to type it here so that it will get saved. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Can you come again with your question, please? In the Azure portal, let's say you have three or four resource groups. Yes. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Yes. No, I'm not executing. I'm getting something, right? So I'm getting the details of something. So if I do a get hyphen AZ resource group, whatever is there in the Azure portal, for example, let's go and create one more. I'll say test 01. Review and create this out. I'll also say test 02 or something like that. So I'm giving all these resource groups names called test 01, test 02, and all these things. Three and reflected. So let's check that out. So I'll just execute this once again. And now it's saying if in resource group details and all these things. Let's see. Firstly, I'll say dollar resource group details dot count. I want to see what are the number of, let's say, resource groups out here. Three, because there are three objects right now, which means yes. So if I execute this out, I have test1 and test2. If I just want to get the name, I'll say dot resource group name. And if I just execute this out, test1, test2. This is happening, reason being, I am not specifying a particular resource group that I want. I am not specifying a particular resource group that I want. If you want to do that, you can say hyphen name and give test1 or test2. If you give this, if you do this, you're only going to get that particular test resource group. If you don't give the name, it's telling okay fine, get all the resource groups out here. By default the command is going to work and tell no, it'll get all the resource groups that are there in your portal, not whose name is starting with test. It'll get everything that is there in your portal out here, because it's just doing a get hyphen easy resource group out here, and you did not mention a condition. So if you have a resource group called test1, test2, it'll get. If you even have a resource group named demo rg or something like that, it'll go ahead and get that. So the command is simply doing one thing. It's saying okay fine, get everything. So I'll just go to the portal, query the portal, get everything, and present to you in the form of this particular, let's say, object. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. Where you say fine, okay fine, let's do that. So the question here is that I have multiple resource groups. Let's say I have something like a demo rg. So I now have something called test1, test2, and also a demo rg. I only want to get the name of the resource groups which is starting with test or something like test, which has a pattern called test in its name. So let's try doing that. So I'll say get hyphen age resource group hyphen name. I'll say test star star. Star here is called as a wildcard in PowerShell. Wildcard pattern meaning it's just telling you that okay fine, after test whatever is there, I don't mind. I don't let's say really mind about what it is. It can be test 01, 02, 03, whatever it is. If you have test, I'll give you the, let's say, that particular pattern. So it's looking for a pattern, but it won't work here. Let's see. Okay, it is working. Yep. Now it's saying test1 and test2. I don't have the demo RG out here, which is good. It's working. But if I remove this out, if I just comment this out, the demo RG will also come into play out here. Again, it's not a right way to do it. This is not, let's say, the right way to do it. Passing the name in a wildcard, not the, let's say, exact way to do it. What you would want to do here is the usage of pipelines, or a command called pipeline command out here in your PowerShell. What do I mean by that is this. I'll say if I do a get hyphen az resource group, the default nature of a PowerShell script is that it's going to go ahead and return all the names of the resource groups for you. This is the default. So when you execute this, it's going to go ahead and say, okay, fine, I'll just print out everything for you. But what if I want to pass the output of this command? The output of this command is nothing but all the details like test1, test2, demo, origin, etc. I want to pass the output to another command as an input. I don't want PowerShell to really display this out. I want to pass it as an, let's say, input to a different command out here. If you want to do that, meaning if you want to combine two different commands in a PowerShell, you use something known as a pipe operator, a pipeline symbol out here. It's a vertical line which is just above your enter key on your keyboard, above the backslash. So if you put a shift and hit that backslash, you would get this particular vertical line here. And I will say, see, each and everything here is an object. Each and everything here that you see here is an object, meaning this is an object with some properties like resource group name, location, provisioning state, tags, resource ID, and etc. This is your object one. This is another object. It says object two. Third one is the third object. Fourth one is the fourth object. Each and every object has this particular properties like resource group name, location, provisioning state, tags, and all these things. Now, after the pipe here, I will give one more command telling where hyphen object. I'm telling where object, and I'm telling, okay, fine, you know what? Get me only those objects or get me only those resource groups whose name has something like test in its, let's say, pattern. Like for example, test 01, test 02, and etc. For which what I'll do is I'll say after where object, put an open close parenthesis, and I want to represent my entire output here inside something called as a where object out here. Now I cannot literally again be writing get hyphen resource group and all that stuff. It's not, let's say, ideal to, let's say, go ahead and write your entire command. What you can do is that you can represent the entire output. All this is the entire output out here. You can represent the entire output in the form of something called as an alias. Alias meaning I am, instead of using the output, I'm using an alias of the output, which in PowerShell goes by something like this. It's dollar underscore. So when I say dollar underscore here, I'm getting this entire output and I'm representing dollar underscore on behalf of this entire output out here. Now this entire output again has, let's say, the resource group name, location, etc. But I only need objects which have or which start with a name like test. So I'll say dollar underscore dot. And I'm now filtering out one particular property called as a resource group name out here. So now I'm telling, okay, fine, where object, yes, dollar underscore the entire output dot the resource group name. So where object, that particular resource group name, and say hyphen, and you have multiple operators. Like for example, we saw something like less than, greater than, and all these things out, right? In the same way, you have something like equal to, not equal to, like, contains, not like, and etc. Let's say that I would go ahead and do something called equal to, and I'll say test star star, put a wildcard. Now, if I go ahead and execute this out, let's go ahead and execute this out here, and let's see what is the output coming out to be. Can anyone tell me what would you think will the output come as? If I do a get hyphen easy resource group, I'm saying where object and this name is equal to test star star. Test resource group should only come. So let's go ahead and execute this out. Did I get anything in written? It's giving me a blank value. Why is it so? Why do you think it is so? Uh, right, but still, where object here is nothing but it's representing your output. So your entire output, which is written by this particular command, which is nothing but, let's say, test1, test2, and demo rg, all this is being represented by using a dollar underscore, an alias. I'm saying dot resource group name. When I do a dot resource group name, it's going to, let's say, look at this particular property where it'll tell you, okay, fine, test, then test1, and then test2, then demo rg out here. I'm telling where is equal to test star star out here. So what do you think is wrong with my condition? Why isn't it not giving, let's say, the proper output out here as such? Because when I do this, when I run this, I'm not really getting anything. But I do have resource group starting with test. Then what do you think is the issue here? So if I run this, I'm simply getting a null output. But if I run just my get hyphen AZ resource group, I'm getting, let's say, the test East US2 and all these things out here. Where do you think I'm missing something here? Just go through the statement again. Try to, let's just see in a plain English. Okay.
Operator,
I'm sorry. Someone was telling something online.
maybe operator is wrong.
Operator is wrong. Yes, true. Could be possible. I am looking for a particular resource group whose name is equal to test star star. I'm telling, please get me a resource group whose name is equal to test star star. I shouldn't do that. It will only look for a resource group whose name is literally equal to test star star out here. I should tell it that, you know what, whose name is like test star star. When I'm telling, okay, fine, get me a student, I'll tell you an instruction telling that, you know what, get me a go to the class, get me a student whose name is equal to Raj. You'll say, okay, fine, who's Raj and all. Someone will raise their hand. You will get that particular person. If I tell you, you know what, please get me a student whose name is like Raj. You can say Raj, Raj Mohan, Rajaram, whoever it is, right? Same thing happens with PowerShell as well. Let's say a like here. I'm telling you, it's like test star star. If I now execute this out, now my output contains test 01 and test 02. There, if you put a wildcard, you cannot equate it. If you equate it, it will go with the literal value, telling that, okay, fine, test star star, let me only go ahead and look for that particular resource group whose name is, let's say, something like test star star out there as such. That's what it's actually going to look like. Let's say that I just change my condition. I go with the opposite value. I'll say not like. Then what do you think is going to happen right now? Demo RG, exactly. So let's go ahead and do not like condition and see what will really happen. A demo RG out here. So it's now telling, okay, fine, demo RG is now coming into place and etc. And I can literally save all these things into another variable. Say specific details or specific is equal to something like this. I can do anything. I can say dollar specific is equal to something, which means all the output that is coming from here is going to get stored in a parameter called dollar specific. Dollar specific now is going to contain your demo RG and all these things, and you can do dollar specific dot resource group name or dot location or dot something and can get the properties of all your values out here as such. No, I declared it. It's a user defined. It's not an inbuilt. It's a user defined out here that I did. Yes. Any questions still here? Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. You can do X, Y, Z, whatever it is. You can do that. You can say X. For example, if I do X, right? If I say X, all the values getting stored there. No, it's not a mandate. The reason I did a specific is because I'm getting a specific resource group. So for my parameter to make some sense, I said it is specific up there. You can do anything. You can literally do anything out here. These are all user defined. So you can do X, Y, Z, whatever it is, will still work. Yes. Any questions still here? Mhm. Correct. No, I'm going to do that. So again, five more or 10 more resource group. I need, let's say, something like five resource groups and etc. So let's do that. So let's come back and say that I need five resource groups. Something called a demo RG1, demo RG2, demo RG3, and so on and so forth. So very first thing is that I need to declare the number of resource groups that I need. Let's say if I want to declare it, I will need an array. For example, if I say name is equal to demo rg hyphen 01, this becomes a string. It's a simple string out here. But if I say names and say open close, this is going to become an array. Again, it's not the name here, it's not, let's say, the value here. I can literally say dollar name is equal to something and declare an array. It is the one which is on the right side. This is what it makes an array out here. So I'll say, fine, let's say, let's put names out here. Again, I can say dollar x y z, whatever it is, not a problem. I can say name or names. I'll say demo rg2. You can say demo rg03, 04, or whatever it is. Okay. Mm-hmm. It no, it won't take in a sequence. So there are two options out here. If there are four resource groups, yes, it's easy for me to, let's say, declare this in the form of an array. If there are not, I'll have to figure out an automation that creates so many resource groups for me. Meaning I'll also show that. We'll also, let's say, look at that one. Let's try with a very simple logic with four resource groups. And let's also address the question on if I have a 99 resource groups out here with the same pattern, then how would I go ahead and approach this out? So yes, there is also automation for that. We'll also look at that. So as of now, it's just four. And what I want to do is that I want to create all these resource groups. And if I want to, let's say, also declare locations, I'll say it is at the rate something like East US2. I'll say the second resource group is in Central US. Third resource group is in, let's say, West US. Fourth resource group is in Central India. I think it's a small I here in Central India out here. So these are the four resource groups and four different names. So just going back to our first classes of, let's say, examples, we did something like looping. So let me open that. And in the for loop, we had all these things wherein say we said, okay, fine, array here is like, say, something like the names, and then we had a location array, and then we did a for loop condition out here telling right host my name is something like array. The same logic I'm going to apply to my PowerShell. So for I'll say dollar $I is equal to 0. I'm starting the value of dollar $I as 0 because the index value starts at 0. I'll say dollar $I is less than dollar names dot count. I'll say dollar $I plus plus my condition. Then I would say, coming here, I would now say right hyphen host. And in the right hyphen host, I'll say attempting to create a resource group with the name dollar of dollar names in the bracket I in the location dollar of dollar location in the bracket dollar I, and I'll give a foreground color here like yellow. What this is going to do, let's see. So if I just run this out, Okay, so I didn't really close the bracket properly. So let's see. Okay, fine. It's the comment which I did not really close. So let me see. Let's do a clear screen and let's execute this once again. So now it's telling attempting to create RG with the name demo1 in the location ECS2. Attempting to create the RG2 with the name something in, let's say, this particular location out here called Central US. Attempting to create RG with the name called demo03 in location West US, and so on and so forth. This is just the right host statement. Now if I want to actually create it, what is the command to create a resource group, guys? What do you think is the command to create a resource group? What command do we need to use to create a resource group again? What did we use yesterday? New hyphen,
New,
new
new
hyphen
hyphen
No
easy,
create
icon. Easy.
resource group
Yes.
hyphen the
hyphen
name
name,
of the resource.
name.
And what should be the name here? What do you think will be the name here?
The
Demo
parameter dollar name.
dollar name, which is this one inside the for loop.
Yes.
Dollar name in the bracket dollar I, because this is what is returning me demo rg1 for the first time, demo rg2 for the second time, third for, let's say something like that. So let me go ahead and say hyphen location. In here I'll say dollar locations, and let me see what did I declare. So it is dollar locations, the bracket I. And again, let me go back to the Azure portal. Same demo rg test 01 and etc, which I manually created. Let me go ahead, execute this command, and now it's telling attempting to create the rg with the name demo01 in location ECS2. It's saying I created this out. Then it's telling attempting to create RG with demo02 in this one Central US. It created this out. Then it's telling demo4. It created, and the script got exited out here. So if I go back into Azure and allow this a minute of time or so on and refresh the screen a couple of times, let me wait for a couple of minutes and let's see. 0102 is coming up. Let's wait. 03 came up, and let's, if you wait for some time, you'll have demo01, demo02, demo03, demo04 that came up from a PowerShell script. And also demo01 got created in East US too. Demo02 got created in Central US. 03 got created in West US. 04 got created in Central India out here. So what I did is, using a script right now, I went ahead and approached this out, and I said, okay, fine, I want something like demo04 till demo04 and all that stuff. And it went ahead and it now did, or it now got me all that particular resource groups out here as such. Is any questions still here? Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. 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 Mm-hmm. Yes, LT is less than correct. Hmm. How do we really write that? Okay. Mhm. Okay, in a very layman terminology. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. 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 No, it's not a simple one for me as well. I had to practice it a lot of times to get this right. So yes, let's see this. How do we justify this? Very importantly, in order to understand why I is equal to 0, we'll have to first understand the concept of arrays. So I say dollar names is equal to something like demo1, demo2, demo3, and demo, let's say 04. When you say dollar names in the bracket 0, what do you think you're going to get here? Okay, let's see that. Let's go there and let's say dollar names in the bracket. I'm saying 0. I'll say enter. What am I getting here? Only 0, 1. The reason, the reason being, again, concept of indexing. Something called indexing. Just like you have a book which will have index pages, even an array applies or implements something known as an indexing out here. What do I mean by that is this, which means dollar names has 1, 2, 3, 4 values which starts from 0. So in the place of 0, you'll have something like demo 01. In the place of 1, you have demo 02. In the place of 2, you have demo 03. In the place of 3, you have demo 04. Same thing happens to your locations. In the place of 0, you have East US 2. In the place of 1, you have Central US. 2, you have West US. 3, you have Central India. Instead of me going ahead, and if I have to manually do it, I would say a new hyphen AZ resource group hyphen name. Then I would do dollar names 0 hyphen location. I would say dollar locations 0. What this is going to do is that it's going to go inside the array, and it's going to say, okay, fine. You're looking for names 0, which is demo 01. You're looking for location 0, East US 2. I will create a resource group with demo 01 in a location called East US 2 out here. If I have to create the second one, I will have to say 1, change this to 1 out here. Manual intervention. Instead of which, what if I put a condition here and my for loop is looking something like this. My for loop, I'm telling it is for, it can be anything again, not I, not, it can be anything. Let's say $A. You need to give an initial value. This is called as an initial counter. I'll say is equal to 0 because my array starts at 0. I would say if $A is less than, I'm telling until the $A is less than 3, I'm giving a normal number out here. I'll say please add 1 to that particular $A. If I do this, let's understand this bare basic logic before we move forward. What do you think will be the value of $A out here in this logic? First it's 0, but if it gets executed the second time, 1, executed third time,
Two.
Moaji 4 will not come, yes, but let's not think about that. Let's think just about the logic. 0, 1 and 2. Are you comfortable till here on what is the logic? I said A is equal to 0, A is less than 3. I said A plus plus. I'm just writing it till here. Are you comfortable with this? Are you okay with this? With the output coming as 0, 1 and 2? Yes, no, maybe. Yes, but which part are you not comfortable with then? If you say some maybe, which part are you not really sure about? A plus plus. What if we not give the A plus plus? Let's see. The best way to understand this one is to remove that. A plus plus is confusing. I'll remove the A plus plus. What do you all think will happen now? Why do we need that A plus plus out here? If I remove the A plus plus, adding one every time. But if I don't have that, what is going to happen? So only value 0. Reason being, A is starting at 0. So it's telling okay fine, A is starting at 0. Is 0 less than 3? Yes. I'll go inside the loop. I'll print the value called 0. Let me come back. What is the value of A right now? 0. Is 0 less than 3? Yes, I'll come back again. Again 0 less than 3. I'll come back. 0 less than 3. But correct. But where did 1 come into picture? Did 1 come into picture at all? Plus plus to increment the value of A so that A value doesn't stay at 0 and you don't run inside the infinite loop out here. Again, if you see the script is continuously running right now. It's continuously running in the background because you put or you forgot to put something known as an increment, which means that if I put an increment, I say $A plus plus, it's nothing but $A plus 1. is nothing but equal to dollar a plus 1 out here. Instead of doing a dollar a plus 1 here, instead of writing all these things, I'm saying a plus plus. So now, the very first thing of your loop, guys, can you please go on mute? I'm getting a little bit of echo. Let's get this on mute. Let's see. Right. So if I increment the value, what is going to happen is this. First time a is equal to b, a is going to be 0. Second time, it'll first go to the statement. It'll say, okay, fine. I need to increment the value of a, which is 0 plus 1 is equal to 1. Now the value of a is not going to be 0. It's going to be 1. Since 1 is less than 3, yes, I'll go in, print 1. Second time, it will be, let's say 1 plus 1 right now, which is 2. 2 is less than 3, yes, I'll print it. Third time, it's going to say 2 plus 1 is equal to 3. 3 is less than, let's say 3. No, it's false. I won't print it. That's the reason. If you execute this out, 0, 1, and 2 out here right now, and I'm just applying this concept for my resource groups, wherein I'm telling, you know what, if I is less than I is equal to 0 and I is less than, let's say, names dot count, instead of telling it is, let's say, just 3 or 4 or something like that, instead of giving a static value, I'm now giving a dynamic value out here, which will give you a number, which means I is equal to 0, I is less than 4, I plus plus. Until this condition is satisfied, I is less than 4, please go ahead and do the same thing. What am I going to do? I'm saying new hyphen is resource groups, names I, locations I. And here I value is going to be 0 for the first time, which means you're going to get demo RG1 and East US2. Second time I is going to be 1, which means that you get demo RG2 and Central US. Third time you get something like 3 or sorry 2, and here it's going to be something like 0, 1 and 2, 3 West US and etc. And now it's going to go ahead and create all these things out for you. Again, sheer practice. You'll have to put this into practice, only then you'll be able to, let's say, follow this out here as such. Yes, any more questions here, guys? I hope that explains what. Yes, anyone? Any more questions here? Mm-hmm.
Can you
Sorry,
can you
just a
execute
second.
the script by deleting
Sorry, can you come again, please?
can you execute the script by deleting the right host part?
By giving the right host part. Okay. Just the right host
No, no,
part, you
I'm
mean, is it?
asking. You just delete that part, right host part?
Okay. Very first thing, Ravi,
The
again, your
entire.
voice is too low. Just a second. Just a second. Give me a second. See, your voice is too low that is coming out. Let me switch my speakers to headset and let's see if that works out for me. Okay, can you go now, please?
So is it audible now?
Uh, I can live with that. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'm asking that. Can you please execute the script by deleting the right host part?
Okay.
Because my
Can you
finding is
execute the
that
script?
so
Mm-hmm.
in the new resource group we have name dollar name within the braces we
Mm-hmm.
have dollar I. But
Right.
I'm getting the echoes and I'm hearing my voice again.
Sir, it's because
I don't know
your
what.
speaker is not good, sir. Your speaker is not good, and your voice is too low at my end also. But if I get your question right, you are telling that what if I don't have the
Yes.
right host? You can still execute
Yeah.
it, but you won't get a good output out here. As in, your script is going to get executed. Right host is just telling you what it's going to do. Right host is now your statements telling that, okay, fine, I'm going to, let's say, create this particular resource group, or I'm going to delete something out here, and etc. And having a right host is always, let's say, a good way to, let's say, give your scripts out here. Reason being, if by some reason this command fails, you will never know where the command is failing. But right host will never fail. Right host will at least give you something, so that I can go back and tell, okay, fine, this is the right host statement. After this, it failed. So let me go to that line and then start debugging. Understand why my command is, let's say, failing out here. But yes, even if I do this, it's going to work out. It's still going to ask me that, you know what, the resource group is already there. Do you want to, let's say, execute this? I'll say yes. It's still going to do the same thing. It's still going to, let's say, go ahead and tell me that, okay, fine, it's demo RG1 and all that stuff. But Again, the research group is already there on the portal, so that's the reason it's giving me, let's say, this particular pop-up telling provided research group already exists, do you want to, are you sure you want to update it? As a yes. So it's still going to do the same thing, no difference out there. But right host statement will help you understand things like where your script is, at what line your script is, and all these things out. It's a better way to, let's say, go ahead and start writing things out.
And so other query is that, so in the
Just yes. Hmm. Hmm.
in the right
Go ahead,
host
please.
in the right host part, so we have a dollar name within the braces dollar, right? Again, we
Okay.
repeat that part in the new resource group saying that dollar name. So what is the need of repeating the uh, same thing?
What is the need of repeating the same thing? I already have written something like
Yeah,
this, but why did you again go ahead and write this? Can
yeah,
anyone tell why
yeah.
did I, let's say, repeat this out? So the question here is that in
So if
right
I go
host you
with the
said
string,
attempting to create. Good, please.
mm, the thing is that if I go with the string attempting to create a RG with the name, so and so is the name in the location. So we
Okay,
have already declared the location,
right.
So
But are
can
you creating
so
it?
that we can go ahead with the.
Yes, but are you?
So sorry,
If you
we have
do
already
right
declared
host,
the name. No?
correct. You already declared the name. That's right. But my question for
Mm.
you is that if you don't, I mean, in the new hyphen AG research group, what do you think should be then the value here? If we do not declare it, if we do not tell if it is dollar name, let's say in bracket I, what do you think should replace it? What do you think should be the alternative for it?
I'm saying that
Hmm.
we can just remove that part and go ahead with location. That's what I'm
Uh,
asking because it is already
mhm.
taking the name part in a, in the right host.
In name part, it's already taking the name part in right host, and so it's also taking the
Yeah.
location part in right host, isn't it? So your question is, why do we need this again? This part, you mean?
Yes.
Okay,
So
so let
can we
me.
execute it by let
Can I execute it by what? Sorry, can you come again, please?
can you can you please execute it by removing that name part in the resource group in the second one?
In the second line, can I execute it without this particular, let's
Yeah,
say, parameters?
without
Let's execute that too.
parameter.
Do you see what it is asking you right now?
Yeah,
Do you
can
see where we are right
create
now?
a org.
Supply the values for the following parameter name, and then it's asking you for the location. Very importantly, you have told what is your name and what is the location to the right host command. But did you tell the same thing to your new hyphen AZ resource group command? Not really. So it will simply not create it. PowerShell will do a line by line execution. It's not going to take the above line and send it to the next line until unless you tell it to do so. In my case, I'm just writing this out, telling that okay, fine, I'm attempting to create a resource group in this particular location. Even if this statement is not there, I'm okay with that. But if it's there, it will help you understand what you're doing, where you're creating, and all that stuff. But for this statement, you will need to pass your name and you need to pass your location. It expects the name and it expects the location out here as such. Very simple. It's just like this. So I verbally tell you that, you know what, go ahead and create a research group with the name test in a location called East US. You go to the portal. Since I told you, don't you have to, let's say, declare it again on the portal again? You have to type it telling test, or can you just tell, okay, fine, you verbally declared it, will it, kind of take the input? No, you have to since still go to the portal, declare it out there telling name and then the location, and then create something. Same logic applies to PowerShell as well. If you want to create something using this particular command, you will have to, let's say, go ahead and pass that particular name and location values to the command as such out here.
And so one more thing,
Hmm.
in the right host part. So what exactly is the host referred to there? Is it cloud or Azure portal?
In the right host part, what exactly is the host representing out here? The host is
Yeah.
representing the PowerShell host. The PowerShell host, as in this particular command.
Okay.
So if you just go ahead and do a right host here, you'll just go ahead and print it on the host. The host here is nothing but your PowerShell console. That's what the host actually kind of talks about.
Sir,
Again,
this Naveen, I'm using a Windows 10 laptop. I'm not able to log in to this PowerShell, sir. Can you please help me on that?
sure, I'll definitely help you. Can you tell me what is the error that you're getting when you're trying to log in?
No, no, it is opening, but I'm not getting this untitled this note to write the script.
I'm sorry, what are you not getting? Can you please come again,
That
please?
to write the that commands and all that untitled one dot ps.
As in, you're not getting, or you're getting just a blue screen like this, is it?
Yeah, yeah. I am getting the blue screen. That's it.
Yes, so please click on this one. You first split your screen.
No, no, there is no option, sir.
On the top, there is no the, I mean, you're not,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
What are you using? Are you using just a PowerShell, or are you using a PowerShell ISE?
Just PowerShell.
Please use PowerShell ISE in that case. PowerShell will only give you a simple screen like
One
this. You're
second,
using
sir.
a Windows PowerShell. It's
PowerShell
going to look
ISC.
something like, yes, look for something called PowerShell ISC, Integrated Service Environment, and that will
Okay,
give you a split screen out here, like the way you see on my screen right now.
okay, sir. Yeah, right.
Yes, any more questions here, guys? We can use ISC, we can use Bash terminals, we can use VS Code. There are a lot of things that are available out there. See, again, irrespective of whether we are using ISC or whether we're using PowerShell, commands will be the same. Yes, it's the logic that we need to just understand. Host can vary. It can be host can vary. Host as in like the tool that you're using to, let's say, write your PowerShell scripts, that can vary. You can write the same PowerShell in something called Notepad++. You can do something called VS Code. There's something called VS Code out here, Visual Studio Code. You can write the same thing in Visual Studio Code and everything. So that can, let's say, be the same. But your host, I mean, your commands are, let's say, the same out there. Host can vary out here as such. Yes. Any more questions here, guys?
Sir, can you move back to the untitled page one?
I'm sorry. Can I go
So
back to what? What creation?
the untitled one page, p untitled.ps1.
This one? You
So
mean?
we end up, yeah, yeah. So we end up discussing the pipeline. So we have not discussed elaborately on what exactly is the pipeline. So
Elaborately
can
on
you
which
please
part? I'm sorry.
wind up the pipeline
I'm
part? Can
sorry.
you please wind up
Sir, this is
the
what is wind
pipeline
up,
part,
sir.
sir?
There is no winding up in programming. It's always, let's say, incremental in nature. Pipe here is just used to, let's say, take your input from one command and send it to the output. That's the usage of a pipeline. That's what I was actually showing out here.
So
And there is no wind up out here.
it's kind of
It's
a
a
connection.
continuous topic. Hmm?
It's kind of connecting two different things.
No, we are not connecting two different things. We just saw two different things out here. There is no connection between two different things out here, which means I'm telling, if you want to get a resource group with a specific name, you can use a pipeline. And then we went into a concept telling how do we now apply a for loop out here, which was the assignment that I was, let's say, asking you all to do out here. There is no you cannot, let's say, tell that okay fine, this is connected to something else. No, it's not like that. Two different concepts. I'm trying to explain two different concepts out here. Here I'm doing a new hyphen AZ resource group. Here I'm doing a get hyphen AZ resource group with a specific condition or with a specific filter out here telling that the resource group name is like test, and I'm getting all that particular resource group names as such out there. Yes, any further questions
So
here, guys?
you mean that
Mhm.
we are we are fetching the information from from one to other or what?
Sir, very firstly, I am not able to hear your question. I'm only able to hear it partly. Your
I'm
voice is
asking that
way too low.
with the pipeline
uh, I'll tell you one thing. See,
with the
please type it in.
pipeline we are trying to
Ravi, please type it in, or please send me an email so that I can respond back to it. Okay,
sure, sure.
Sir,
good, please.
while creating resource group, if you put dollar in the name and location, if you put dollar of dollar names, what will be the output?
Okay, dollar of dollar names. Let's see that. So,
Yeah,
okay, you mean dollar of something like this of dollar names?
yeah.
It is going to be the same thing, not any different at all. But the reason I'm not doing a dollar of dollar names out here is because I don't have a quotation. I don't have a quotes out here where I'm declaring these things out here. In here, when I'm doing a write host, I'm doing a dollar of dollar names. Only reason being I'm writing it inside the quotation. I want to let PowerShell know that, you know what, these two are not two different variables. These two are combined together as one value. That's the reason I said dollar of dollar names is something. Again, if you want to give the same thing here, shouldn't make any difference at all. It will give you the same output once again.
Okay. Sir, I'm using Windows 8. When I try to connect Azure portal, it is asking credentials like username, password. When I entered, it is showing some error, sir. I'm not able to connect the Azure portal. I have
Uh,
shared the screenshot also.
okay. Yeah, I looked at the screenshot. Can you try executing the same script once again? I will have to look at the screenshot and then have to, let's say, to understand why is the, let's say, error that what is the error that you're getting out there. I just looked at the screenshot, give it a glance out there. But what I would suggest is just try re-executing the command once again. Let me know how
Yeah,
it
yeah, sir.
goes.
I have re-executed many times, but the same error will came up, sir, every time.
Okay, so I'll do one thing. I'll give you one more line out here. I'll reply back to your email, giving you one more line out here to your command. Please run both the lines and see how it works out. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yes. Any more questions here, guys? Hmm. Hmm. Yes. Yes. You cannot do that. For example, meaning again, you want something like yellow green or something like that, right? Then you'll have to also say something like colors, array, then dollar I. So, for example, if you want to do something like that, I'll say yellow, single quote, double quote, anything works, not a problem. Yellow, red, I will say green, and then again I'll give a yellow out here. Again, if I just want to, let's say, comment this statement because I don't want to, let's say, do a new hyphen easy resource group once again, I'll say dollar colors dollar I. If I now go ahead and execute this out, this is how. Mhm. Uh, it should be with the foreground color. Instead of passing a color, instead of passing telling something like yellow, I'm passing colors dollar I, which will take yellow, red, green, yellow for the very first time. So it's like 0, 1, 2, and 3. 0, 1, 2, and 3. So yes, you will have to give it at the end. You will have to give it at the end using something called as a foreground color out here as such. As in like this, you're telling? Hmm. No, it won't execute. It'll start throwing an error. It'll just give you a simple blank because it's a continuation, right? So that's the reason I'm giving it in the very first line. It's being passed as a script argument, additional arguments to your script out here as such. All right, so I'm a little top of the hour right now, so I'll have to close this session right now. So we'll continue with this tomorrow, and we'll see more into PowerShell as to how do you write an end-to-end scripting. But just go with this. Just try to write your own logic. See how it works out for you. Let me know if you need any help with that. Okay. Thanks, guys, and have a good day ahead. Thank you.